Hello, dear listeners. Today is Sunday, I believe the 15th, no, 14th, excuse me, the 14th of August, 2022. I'm gathered here with Michael, and we're going to delve right back into our biblical series on conspiracy, dealing with the Kennedy assassination. And we just did a session the other day on Jackie Kennedy and her ties with her sister and all these interesting things. And here we are with Killer Queen number 2, I believe, isn't it, Michael?
Yeah, it's correct.
Yes.
It's just a little bit small here.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes, Killer Queen number 2, which is our session 43. And if you've watched
now it's better.
previous session-
It's now 18 type font. And now it's better. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Killer Queens too. Yeah, I'm sorry that this is not much biblical content at the moment, but I'm really glad when the Kennedy thing is here been finished. So I'm eager to continue and to put the finger on the interesting things, because I think that if you do a session on conspiracies and on Kennedy especially, nobody would understand if you would exclude the assassination itself. So therefore, let's have a go. I mentioned last time that it was just the introduction to the Killer Queen, and Jackie Kennedy has been accused of being the Killer Queen because she is the elephant in the room, the Pink Panther, so to speak. And this is an interesting little pamphlet here, a PDF, which can be found on the internet. I think it was on archive.org. If I recall, I wanted to insert the link when we will finish the session in a few weeks. And so this is Inspector Clouseau, Dallas 2013, to check for open windows and to count gunshots and to climb grassy knolls and don't forget sewers. Yeah, so distract the public with all the distraction from the outside, and instead of looking inside the limousine, what would happen there and what has happened there. So then let's go to the elephant in the room. Quite later. And this is the PDF. From a guy, I think he comes from military, because he's often referring to the USS Liberty incident on the 6-day war in Israel. It is reverse engineering of JFK assassination plane featuring the Killer Queen. So that is an interesting, I think it is 100 plus pages, why Kennedy was assassinated, why Jackie Kennedy killed her husband, etc., etc. It's very interesting to go into this. I'm not in line with many of the conclusions here, but yeah, let's have a go for it. The best thing, or the best outcome and the best news is that it is plainly in English. So this document, the author says, explains JFK assassination plan. It proves that Jackie Kennedy killed JFK. It is shockingly news to you, then you may jump ahead to a quick Q&A session about the JFK assassination. And many of these links are working. Yeah, you see that here. Why Kennedy killed Kennedy. All others answers are impossible. Whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. Why? Because she was an experienced assassin, that's the claim. She had gained her experience before she married JFK. People who wanted JFK dead knew about her secret skills. They made her kill JFK by threatening her and promising her a big reward later. Jackie felt that she did not have a choice. Of course, that is an assumption. This is not a proof, though. That is just a theory. How could she be so nice and famous? I think we have sorted that out. That is just the outside appearance. Yeah, who gave the orders? That is here a very strange construction, that he's also or always referring to a parasitic ethnic group. You will see later, and of course that is not deep state, that is the people in power. These are clerical people, and that is for a later session. Yeah, so blah 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 blah, Texas Oilman, that is just only on the outside. So why did they want to kill Kennedy in public? Sure, because they wanted to have a great picture so that everybody who had the same idea not to obey the real authorities would be threatened and would say, oh no, sorry, I just back off. Yeah, so they wanted a public execution. Yeah, it was not done in private, but it was a public execution on purpose. They wanted to show that the entire world around that so-called globe. Yeah, and how to get away with that? That is really a wonder. Yeah, no sniper would achieve a spectacular result of blowing brains out with sufficient reliability. They needed somebody close to JFK who would never be suspected by the common people. They were masters of human psychology. They knew that the bigger the lie, the more people would believe the lie. Well, that's the same condition as in 2019 until this very day. The bigger the lie, the more people they believe it. Yeah. So what guns did Jackie use? The answer is Jackie used 2 guns. That is a theory here. She used one dart gun to inject a chemical agent into JFK's left thigh in order to incapacitate him first. So no first shot to the throat, but just the intoxication. That was a thing that it was going through my mind from the beginning. I said, no, you don't see any shot. You don't see people reacting outside for a shot or so. So why must it be a shot? Maybe that's something else. So that does not take away from that many people have seen the autopsy with a wound in Kennedy's throat. But you see that it's not natural, the cause. You see, you can't prove when what happened. 7 seconds later, she used a firearm installed her handbag to shoot a special bullet below JFK's left ear. The bullet exited around the right side of his forehead by crushing the frontal bull of his skull. Nobody would suspect Jackie holding her handbag close to her chest. Question: why did anybody see or hear Jackie killing JFK? Yeah, well, these people inside were, of course, part of the conspiracy. The bystanders couldn't see it because it was hidden. They blocked the view, the side window, for example, and the volume was reduced by a sound suppressor and drowned out by police motorcycles accelerating very loud just seconds before the gunshot. Dallas Police Department was part of the conspiracy. That is also my estimation. How do we explain JFK's head bouncing towards Jackie? The famous quote, "back and to the left" from JFK movie by Oliver Stone is very misleading because JFK's head bounces back towards Jackie. It bounces forward from Jackie. It is only for 40 milliseconds, and there we got a problem here because we know it's a fake film. Yeah, so you do not know which frames are missing. And that is also the downfall on the theory here. Yeah, you see, you can claim any theory, but the problem is that you judge upon a fraudulent, faked, a fabricated movie. Yeah, so nobody can tell you how it was really done. You can only come up with some clues or with some theories because the evidence is just not there. The car is missing, and the movies are fabricated. Yeah, so all the evidence has been gotten rid of. Yeah, so the single best evidence is Zapruder frame 313, a gunshot trail originated from Jackie's right hand, about 10 inches below JFK's left ear. Yeah, but sheep don't believe their own eyes and just follow their corrupt leaders. Yeah, that means that, of course, people say, "Oh my, Lee Harvey Oswald did it." Yeah. Is there other evidence of Jackie's guilt? Yes, truckload of evidence, and the problem is that they got away with everything because, of course, she is protected by the parasitic ethnic groups or whomsoever. Who assisted Jackie? Of course, all the people in the car, and of course, Secret Service, and of course, Dallas Police, so everybody. Yeah, JFK was totally on his own. What was Jackie doing on the trunk? She was not looking for pieces of his brain or skull or what else. Yeah, it was just to dispel your suspicion early about any firearms on her by showing you her front and back and to move the object of attention away from JFK in order to distract the bystanders. Yeah, so they had to plan to exploit the weaknesses of human psychology. Yeah, so that, "Oh, I am the victim, please help me," and not "I am the murderer." Yeah, so that was a very clever move. Huh? What about the other gunshots? Okay, these are sounds, flashes, firecrackers, etc. This is just distraction, sure. And if that was the only real bullet, I heavily doubt that. I think that there are many, many bullets fired. Remember James Takes, so that is also the problem with that theory. But nevertheless, it's a very interesting work. What about the autopsy? Okay, this is Secret Service here, this is government, you can't rely on any autopsy. Everybody can fool you. Warren Commission, everybody can fool you. And many people, of course, especially this parasitic ethnic group and mass media, of course, they will not tell you anything about that because this is just inside information and not been used and thought for the general mass media. They should stay asleep, as like in the movie They Live. So, how can so many experts be so wrong? Sure, because everybody can claim himself being an expert. So this is just for money. So JFK is a cash cow. Every book published, every interview is a cash cow. So that is that's it actually. Why are investigations so funny? Of course. Why didn't say Kennedy anything? You see that, of course, because that could have been next, for one example. And oh, this is a very interesting question. We will sort it out also in one of the future sessions. The fastest way to confirm the conspiracy is to open his casket buried in Arlington National Cemetery. There is no JFK's body inside in it. That's also my estimation. Of course, government is included there, getting rid of every evidence, faking, fabricating autopsy. You see that it's not the work of a lone assassin or even of a conspiracy. This is government involvement there. Is there a similarity between JFK and 9/11? Yeah, it is the Trident. It's Freemason. It's Jesuits. It's all the way around. It's just the bigger the lie, the more people.
Very good point, Michael. The Trident that you can see on the face or the facade of the World Trade Center towers, as well as the street layout of the. I forget now, is that Main Street there in the center, and then you have Elm on the left, and then what's on the right?
Commerce Street.
Commerce Street, okay, and that's in Dallas, right where the shooting was taking place.
Sure.
In the as we refer to it as the Freemasonic temple.
If you would say cui bono, who profits, then you look at what happened in 1968. RFK had been killed, the brother, Robert Kennedy had been killed. Then Jackie Kennedy has switched off or ordered to switch off his life support system. And a few weeks later, she married Aristotle Onassis. So, cui bono?
Who benefits?
Who benefits, yeah.
Well, and that's pretty easy if you know the Bible, because it's the merchants of the earth that are benefiting from this. All of them.
Yeah.
It's a corporate entity. In 1870, I think it was 1871, somewhere in there, there was a Organic Act of the Organic Act of 1870 or 1871. I forget which one it is. And that changed the structure of the government in the United States into a corporate structure. That's when we really lost the republic, was way back in 1870. Does that ring a bell with anyone? We had the First Vatican Council in 1870 as well. So it was probably just another product of that entire movement of the powers that be, so to speak, to take away the republic and replace it with a corporate bureaucracy. And it continues to this day, Michael, in the United States.
The problem is that many people belie the mass media. It's the same situation as in 9/11, the same situation as with this COVID ritual. These are all rituals, and people believe they are so-called media, these mediators between heaven and earth. They believe that because it's just very comfortable. They say, "Oh, don't bother me." You see that I'm doing that research for months. I could have had a much more easier life if I won't do all these sessions in German and in English. I would have so much time on my hands. But I'm doing it out of love for the truth, which is, of course, Jesus Christ. And they don't want you to know the truth. So let's try if you find some truth in that. It's just about every government is lying to their people. Like Inspector Clouseau keeps chasing the Pink Panther. Yeah, you keep chasing a phantom. Yeah, if you look outside the limousine. Yeah, and why is that assassination so important? Because it is just not a murder case, but it's just a can of worms, a metaphor for weaknesses of human psychology. Yeah, because everybody says it's a lone assassin. It's the same as 9/11. Yeah, it's just a bunch of weirdos from Afghanistan or Bin Laden and all the things. Yeah, so many worms like 9/11 are too complex for most people. Yeah, because they don't know what kind of a world they are living in. They don't know the Bible. They don't know the truth. Yeah, so they can be deceived very easily or manipulated.
Well, and they get really angry about it too, and that's the other thing, because usually the first reaction to truth, Michael, is anger and disbelief, and that's understandable. But we're asking you to take a deeper look into it and study it on your own and verify it for yourself to know it's true. And that's what I've done. And first reaction is always going to be anger and
because you are violating their comfort zone. Yeah, you see that, it's not that easy word, and everybody can have everything at his disposal. It's so sweet, you will have a lovely life. No, you will only have a lovely life, this life, if you serve Satan. Yeah, so that's the price. Then afterwards that you say that, okay, I had just...
like Jackie Kennedy.
Like Jackie Kennedy, yeah.
You just got to do a little dirty work, She's just doing dirty work, that's all,
Yeah, of
she
course.
got rewarded, yeah.
Yeah, of course, but you see, you have to take anything into consideration. When he says, I do not think that of the frames include false information, I think they do. Don't underestimate their intentions. So that is, everybody has been into questioning here. Yeah, so I will provide that document later on, and let's go right in it, because now you know the short version of it, and so then we start from the beginning. Start from scratch, so to speak. So why Kennedy was been officially executed? It was to show the whole world that Kennedy, or the American president in general, was not the most powerful man in the world, I think, So that's the problem that many people do not understand. It was not just a killing, it was an execution. So it happened on purpose to have anything as a proof on media, so that and also to prove how mighty this organization behind that assassination is, because they get away with that. Yeah, can you imagine somebody so powerful that he gets away with the murder of an American president? That's not a single person. That is a big organization. You have to cover up anything. You have to cover up the evidence. You have to cover up the town. You have to cover up the media. You have to cover up the autopsy. You have to cover up history and so forth. Yeah, this is not the work of a lone assassin. So, if we think that Jackie Kennedy, at least, I would say at least it's quite logical that she was heavily involved in the attack. If she was the lone assassin on that, if she was the high-ranking CIA spy, that's on another piece of paper. But at least she was heavily involved with that, because she has to know from which direction the shot came. Yeah, and nobody asked her on the Warren Commission, which we talked about last time. Yeah. So, there are many interesting references to Jackie being the Killer Queen. Yeah? The paragraphs with Killer Queen quotes are shaded. At the end of the document, you will find the chapter Killer Queen lyrics from the tribe with instructions. Oh, there is a famous song by a very famous group. But let's go on and on. Reasons why JFK was assassinated: to make public pictures where the politicians could see JFK's brains blow out and where the masses couldn't see Jackie's fingerprints buried in. But I think the main factor is that the politicians and all the so-called or so to see mighty and powerful people could see that that would be also their fate if they would be standing in the way of the real authority in this world, which is of course the church. And of course, he's disguising it here as a parasitic ethnic group, yeah. But actually, if you replace that with the church, then I think it's much more easier to comprehend what he's actually talking about. They knew that the common people wouldn't get the message behind JFK's brains blowout. The common people wouldn't even suspect Jackie because the killing was done in public. Their media would take care of brainwashing the common people. Yeah, the same situation as now. The message was intended only for politicians and the most influential people around the world who knew how to read this message as a veiled threat. Okay, of course, if you blow somebody's brains out, it means that you have spoiled thoughts. Yeah, so somebody isn't in line with your kind of thinking. Yeah, it's very simple if you look to symbolism. Of course, the brain is usually be seen as the place, as the origin of your thoughts. So, yeah. Yeah, so that's that. So, JFK, Godfather. Huh? Very interesting, Godfather. Huh? Also very interesting hint. The band leader's brains blown out by Luca in Godfather are really JFK brains blown out by Jackie in Dallas. The same media that sold you Luca as an assassin also sold you Jackie as a princess. The same media that sold you Oswald as assassin also sold you the commercial clowns like Billy O'Reilly as JFK researchers. Yeah, that's a whole industry. Depending on that, never the truth shall be known, because then books and reviews and magazines would not be bought anymore. So it's a big, big, big business. The killing of JFK had to shown all current and future politicians as part of their continuing education programs so that the elites would not have to resort to killings too often. They could kill a sitting US president only once per century without creating a chaos. Yeah. They had to kill JFK in public and on film. The killing and its pictures had to be spectacular in order to provide an excellent visual aid to slow learners among politicians. What's a more spectacular way than blowing JFK's brains out? However, it is not easy to arrange for something like this in a public for the sitting United States president. Using a sniper to achieve such a spectacular result with a reasonable certainty is only for fiction movies and for funny jokes made by the government clowns from Warren Circus. Such a job requires almost laboratory conditions where a specially designed bullet is fired to a specific spot on head from specific distance where the victim is not moving, etc. Without a spectacular result, the elites would not bother. They would simply arrange a heart attack for JFK. That is why the elites hired murder planners who quickly set their sights on Jackie. Yeah, because many people would be unaware. They would never estimate that his wife was being involved in the attack. Up to this very day, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. So reasons why Jackie killed JFK in public. Because it was meant to be. You see that also the powerful people, they could say then, even we get his wife to kill him. Yeah, so their power is so large and so big, so enormous that they can even get a housewife or the wife or the first lady to kill a United States president. Yeah, so that is one top of just killing a president. If you can arrange the killing of a president with the help of the first lady, yeah, then you just achieve another level on top of that. Yeah. So, but the question remains that did she really had the final shot, or did somebody else pull the trigger? You will never know, because I know, according to the testimony of Mr. Brugioni, who said that his white cloud of smoke above his head would last for at least 4 frames or so. We know there are missing frames, so you can't know, you can't tell. Nobody can tell. If somebody can tell, then he must be in the possession of the real, authentic, not fabricated movie. Otherwise, I think it is not possible, unless you would be one of the inhabitants or the participants in the car itself. I think they are all died now in the meantime. So there is a letter of Jackie on 1951 in the JFK library about her work for CIA on a special job on a special project. Of course, could also be misleading on purpose. Yeah, of course. It's CIA, yeah, so the CIA's task is to disinform the people. So could also be that the role of Jackie was being overplayed or being just fabricated, just to deceive all of us. So that's what I would like to talk about, that we have to take everything with a grain of salt. Yeah. You will never know the truth. I know only one who knows the truth, and this is God. He knows the truth. Yeah, and of course the people who have set up this assassination. But I think that they also been most of the times died now. Maybe Mr. Kissinger, but he won't tell you. The bigger the lies, the more people who will believe the lies. I think that Kissinger is now 99 or so. Maybe he does not remember. I think that he can get away with that, like Jackie, if he says, I cannot remember, and everybody will tell you, yeah, of course, he's 99, he can't remember. Yeah. So, of course, this is just a very interesting document. Of course, it's the death of her child also. If that is correct, you see, everything can be set up. Maybe you will never know if that child that she is given birth to was the child of Mr. Kennedy. Sorry, but you have to question everything. You have to question everything. That makes it very hard to look at the facts. And from a biblical standpoint, it's just more easy to look behind this assassination instead of looking to the assassination, because behind the assassination is much more easy if you can combine some dots, because they're giving you some hints. But for the assassination itself, wow, that's really a tough one. Yeah, so he says, look at the following quote from Killer Queen Lyrics. Okay, we will do that very soon. Yeah, Didi Plaza is like a Hollywood studio. Yeah, I agree on the fact that nobody was there by chance, but on purpose. Be it Mr. Zapruder, high-ranking Freemason, be it Mr. Altkins, who died on very strange circumstances. And he was also a photo editor. Yeah, so the people who were there were mostly, I think, involved in that, and yeah, maybe also controlled opposition. Who knows? It was restricted area according to Jean Hill, if that is correct. Yeah, you have to question everything. Yeah, so fake autopsy, execution of the assassination plan. Yeah, I'm just scrolling for the people who don't want to download it, or in case that I will forget it. Jackie has an uniform, of course, it's Alice in Wonderland programming, and everybody is in on the assassination. For example, Mr. Jesse Curry, 33-degree Freemason. He does not talk about Freemason here. He's very careful what he's telling you. He talks about parasitic ethnic groups. So central banking, now everything comes into play. So he says that there was no first shot, but a chemical agent to disable Kennedy's movement, which is also my conclusion, because you see on all the Zapruder frames between 2:25 and 3:13 you see JFK barely moving. Not looking to his wife, which would be a natural reaction, but looking or staring actually quite in front of him. So like a sitting duck, and also like maybe a poisoned one or a paralyzed one, which would be very convenient. Yeah, because he's also wearing a corset, so that would make him a real sitting duck. Okay, so that, but of course you can't, as you don't have the body, you don't have a clear autopsy. The first autopsy was being overruled and distorted by the Secret Service. Yeah, so they didn't want to have an examination autopsy in Dallas. Sure, why? Yeah. And he says that maybe the delay of a needle prick is about 2 seconds. So we do not know everything, but that was also my hint when I talked about the Umbrella Man, or the Umbrella Man, sorry for bad English, the Umbrella Man, coming inside around the Croft picture, about 180 FK Croft picture. Yeah, so that's a famous JFK Croft picture here. That is, according to many researchers, frame 181. And after JFK has passed the Stemmons freeway sign on 225, so at least 40 frames later, that's 2 point some seconds. That means that then he was holding his hand through his throat, that he can't breathe, or he's enabled in some kind of a way. So that means that around this time he must be injected with some paralyzing agent. Okay? So that is the theory here with the needle prick. That is his theory. Okay, so he says Jackie used a dart gun. Nobody knows, of course, it's just an assumption here. By compressed CO2 or air, then it is silent. Yeah, the Croft photo, okay, I did not know that. Made of Elm Street, yeah, that must be around that time, maybe half a second later or so. I don't know, but what I know is that it's very strange that if somebody has been shot in the throat, it's just very strange that you do not move. Usually you would look for help. If you would be JFK and you would be shot to the throat from behind, let's just think so.
That makes sense, Michael. He was paralyzed. That's true. He wasn't moving.
Yeah. So you would look to your wife or just try to do something, but not just to sit there and do nothing and just hold your breath, because you would at least lean towards your wife, but he couldn't because there was a bunch of roses between them on purpose, so that maybe would be the cause for his reaction or strange reaction. So these thorns are sharp. So that is just an assumption that it happened that way. And that she is also carrying a handbag, which could also be carrying the gun. He's also got a simulation here running, but I think that it will come later. So, with the gunshot sound suppression. And of course, if you just happen to shoot somebody in or under the ear, then you have a weak portion of the skull and you will have much damage, regardless the caliber of the weapon, because it just from close distance is point blank range. That's quite clear. And if you got a special bullet, of course, which is a dum-dum bullet or kind of way, you won't damage any bystanders because it would just explode in the head, and that's also the effect that most likely the elites, so to speak, would like to achieve. So, there's a bunch of roses, so that is between them, and maybe if he's got a prick, then he thought, it could be coming from the roses, so that would be very clever to do that way. Also, remember that JFK had red roses. Red stands for blood and sin and sacrifice, and Nelly had yellow roses, which is the Yellow Rose of Texas, is a national song there. So there's a difference. It's very interesting to go into that. It's a valuable assumption here. But that's it actually. I have prepared for a later session. I have prepared my kind of thoughts about what could have happened there. But of course, it's very, very hard to go into every nitty-gritty here. But you look at the face expression of Jackie Kennedy. It's not like a caring housewife. You know that she was for a few weeks before she was in Greece at Aristotle Onassis and all the things, and it was not a loving couple, no, JFK and Jackie, or Jack and Jackie. It wasn't just Camelot never happened. So that's this fantasy, or that this theory. But it's a valid theory, of course. It's a valid theory because you won't harm any bystanders if you just kill somebody from close range with a special bullet, which was supposed to. It was supposed to open the head. It was supposed to have a dramatic effect. And a fatal effect, of course. You can't risk not to succeed to kill the American president, because after all, if you won't have succeeded, can you imagine what kind of a hell then have broken loose? All the audience would have immediately asked for a commission or immediately asked for any government action. So he must be absolutely sure, people must be absolutely sure to kill the president at the first try, in the first instant. That's a thing which also in the car which happened. Connolly looks at JFK's face and maybe he's also gives the go-ahead signal to Jackie. So these are just actors here in the car. Connolly, up to my estimation, was never been hurt. Maybe he was hurt by the prick of one rose, but he was never actually hurt by any bullet. Yeah, all the things in the bullet can't have happened. We will go to this later when we are coming to the so-called magic bullet. Can't happen. I know why I haven't touched on the magic bullet so far, because I wanted to have special sessions about the religious background of this assassination. But I tell you one major clue to that. He can't have been injured by that magic bullet, because that magic bullet went out pristine, although it had occurred several wounds in the body of JFK as well as the body of Connolly. But in the wrist x-ray of Connolly, there were fragments from the bullet. But these fragments from the bullet, yeah, were bigger than the pristine bullet they presented to the audience. Yeah? I hope I made my point clear, Brett. Yeah?
Yes.
So there was too much material left on that so-called pristine bullet, yeah, to have caused the so-called alleged wound in the wrist of Connolly. So that cannot be their bullet. Or Connolly has not been wounded at all. But it cannot sum up. You see, that is absolutely illogical. Can happen. That is a blatant lie. You can't have a pristine bullet on the one hand and then metal fragments in your wrist on the other hand. Yeah, every 5-year-old would get that. Okay, so let's move on with that theory here. Oswald Commission, blah, blah, blah. Look at the frame 312, yeah, that she's keeping distance to him, yeah? So she's keeping distance to him in 255. He's clearly paralyzed. You see that he does not stare at her. He has no eye contact, yeah? If you would have such a serious injury, you would look for eye contact. Help me, I can't breathe, I can't speak. You would look for eye contact, Brett.
Yes.
Yeah, and so 1/18th of a second, if that is the correct frame here, you see that she's not even looking at him directly. Yeah, she's having a strange, awkward position of her elbows and hands. Yeah, usually you would comfort somebody, you would say, oh my, and you would lay your arm around his shoulder or something. Yeah, but it's just a strange action. Yeah, she's putting him in a position. Yeah. You see that here, that's very interesting here. If you see that here, she's leaning towards him from the left side, but then uses her thumbs to push his arm down. If he's injured, what is the real cause of pushing his arm down? You see that if he's injured, you would try to not to hurt your loved ones. But just be careful.
Can you zoom that in a little bit, that photo, that black and white one there?
Yeah, it's actually it's no. Yeah, of course. Actually, it's just Alt 6. Yeah, so we can have a better solution on that. Yeah, you can have Alt 6. So you know that this is Alt 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to have I have to have a big picture with a good resolution.
Mm-hmm.
That's the second best I can offer you. I know there is a much better picture of it, but I think you see it. You can see it here clearly. Yeah. So if you would have to have maximum power in your arms, you use your powerful finger, which is the thumb. The thumb is not by accident a symbol for mass, power. Yeah, and you push him down. It's very strange, because you see that if you would like to have the same situation, then have your loved ones right beside you and just you look at the left spot, and then you turn yourself to your loved ones, and then you go to your loved ones, and usually what you would do is you would grab the arm of somebody, but not with your thumb up, but with your thumb down. That would be the normal reaction. But if you have the thumb down, that's a very awkward situation, because you are pressing down the arm. Yeah, this is a very key picture here. She's pressing the arm in a certain position. She wants to have him under control. She does not want to comfort him. Really, if you just turn around to the right side with your usual position of your arms, if you were typing on a typewriter, and then you would comfort somebody, you would not use that position of your left arm. That is clearly that she's holding out to his wrist to control the entire arm with his finger, which has the maximum force of her hand, which is the thumb. Now, maybe somebody says, oh, that's Michael, that's far too exaggerated here, but that's my assumption here, because that's an awkward position when you have an injured husband. It's clearly, it looks to me that she's controlling him. Okay. Shall I continue?
Mm-hmm. I see now. Yes, I see now.
Mm-hmm.
Now it makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, she's has handkerchiefs. Yeah, so that means no fingerprints also. Great. And she gets away with that because she's usually wearing that handkerchiefs, and she gets away with that with that. Oh, I got a bunch of roses. I have to be very careful. Mm-hmm. But you see, it looks like a control. Yeah, I'm controlling you. It's not like I'm like to help you and honey, what's up? No, it does not look like this. It's just my explanation of that. Yeah. So this source says that she's carrying a handgun in the handbag, of course. Yeah, and Jackie's hair also had another shape for the assassination because she had to have a free view on her right side and not, and so she had her hair trimmed the other way around. Yeah. The most comfortable combinations are with elbow high, and because your forearms or wrists are given the most room to move around. Yeah. Yeah. So she's hiding her right arm, yeah, instead of she's raising her right elbow, yeah, and that's very interesting because you have also a very interesting photo of Jackie Kennedy together with Ted Kennedy, who is the only survived son, he's deceased. Edward Moore Kennedy, Jacqueline. I know I got that picture somewhere, but I can't. Yeah, that is that picture here. So maybe that is also just a Freudian slip or so, that she's actually telling you, okay, that's how I made it, how I received, how I killed my husband, yeah, with that handbag and a pistol in that handbag, and I got a blue pistol, and the president has also got a dark smoking, yeah, and therefore, well, nobody sees much, or the theory with the lamp shop, yeah? You see that even here you got two theories of how Jackie could have achieved the murder of her husband, if she has achieved that feat. Yeah? Yes, she's wearing white gloves, yeah, sure.
That's right. We're not necessarily proving it to be true. Mm-hmm. We are just putting forward the argument for it to be true.
Yeah.
Right, Michael?
Sure, and the valid argument would be the line of events. If there are no missing frames, which is highly likely because of the Brugioni claim of the white smoke being emitted from JFK's head for at least 3 or 4 frames, so you know there are frames missing. Yeah. So one of the frames, 313, showing you the trajectory or supposed trajectory out of Kennedy's head to the above. So that means that the shot must have come from up or from down to the sky, from down to this angle here. Yeah. So there is a gunshot or a shot, or maybe it's an artifact of the sun also. You see that it's very hard to say because of just one frame. The problem is that you know that he was killed in the north. Yeah, so Elm Street is in the north, and you know that he was killed at noon. So the sun is then, of course, in the south. So that means the sun is on the other side. So giving the position of Zapruder here, that could also be, no, just one hint. Yeah, that could also be reflections in the camera lens. Of course, it would be much more easy to say, sure, she killed him. But, and that's a big but, yeah, you're direct looking into the sun. Yeah, it's just plain simple. You see that here is the shadow. Yeah, so the sun must be coming from that side here, from the other side. So you are facing, Zapruder is standing on a pedestal and is almost looking in the sun, although his camera is of course a little bit more in a downward position, but of course that could also be an artifact of the camera. You can't tell. I can't tell. A valid argument is, why is it not visible on frame 314 then? Yeah, but maybe there are 2, 3, 4, 5 frames between them, because Brugioni says there are at least 3 or 4 frames. Yeah, so there are 3 frames missing here. So that's a third or a fourth of a second missing here. So maybe Abraham Zapruder was moving and a little bit of moving, and then that artifact does not show up. You can't tell. I am not in a position to tell you what happened, how it happened, because there are so many possibilities, because you have to deal with the fact that that is not a continuous movie, but a certain addition of frames. So let's get on. The most single best evidence would be, of course, that so-called trajectory here on 313. But why? And I'll tell you why. Why are they then removing then frames, according to Dino Burgioni, and leaving that out? Yeah, not fabricating this frame. Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense. They had 4 or 5 years time, Brad, to fabricate that single frame. So that
then you could pose the question, what happens if it is fabricated?
Mm-hmm.
We can't prove either way.
You can't prove it. Everybody who says I got the solution for that, you see, you can't prove it, because either you would have been the planner of the operation, or you have the correct, authentic Zapruder film in your possession, or you are God. So these are the 3 possibilities. And I'm neither of it.
We're certainly not God.
No, but we are not the ones who are involved in the assassination. We can only see and only think about the possibilities. We know that no one in that car is telling the truth. They are all liars. They are all Satanists, therefore. They are all in the spirit of Antichrist. They were witnesses to a killing and did not testify correctly. That's what you can tell, 100% certain. The shot must be coming out of the vehicle. Yeah, so it must have happened inside. Yeah, at least when you go according to the testimony of Mr. John Connelly, who says, oh, the shot was that loud and he was clapping in his hands. I think we will soon meet him too. Yeah, and that's the problem. You can't rely on the Zapruder movie alone. You have to use common sense. And you have to use common sense to say that she was controlling him, and therefore she's heavily involved in the execution of JFK. And therefore, that frame does not prove that Jackie Kennedy executed JFK. I'm absolutely not in line with that. You can't prove it, because then you would say that I'm absolutely 100% sure that this is the trajectory. And if you want to be absolutely sure, you need the weapon, you need the gun, you need the autopsy. Then you can say, okay, yeah, that was the gun that caused the wound, that is the bullet who caused the wound, and that is the president's head which had the impact, and so therefore that is the weapon, that is the bullet, that is the wound. And then you would have need for fingerprints, which you don't have because she's wearing handkerchiefs. You see, you can't get to the nitty-gritty of it. But I don't want to exclude my line of thoughts on that, because otherwise I feel myself a little bit, I'm not a scary guy which says, no, I don't want to talk about the situation. Yeah, yeah. You see that I just want to point out that you can't tell. Yeah, because if you say that this movie has been fabricated, according to Jack White and others, yeah, then you can't tell that it's frame 13 to prove. On the one hand, you can't argue, okay, the movie is fabricated, and on the other hand, you say, but the frame 313 is authentic and that is proof. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. What you can prove is that she's part of the conspiracy, because she does not react the usual way, and she is sitting that close to him that nobody from the outside would have risked to kill the First Lady. So it must have happened inside the car from close range. So one theory is the driver, second theory is Jackie Kennedy, and then you don't know if it has happened by the handgun. And he's not claiming for the lamp shop, yeah, which is also true. Sorry, this is missing here, yeah. So this is just an interesting theory, but it's just not more than that. It's just an interesting theory. And that was also my initiation when we were doing some sessions upon, and also my initial thing to look at from that Jackie Kennedy thing. So I'm very thankful to have this this document here. But on the other hand, it does not prove that Jackie Kennedy killed him this way that the author is suggesting. Yeah? Of course she is the Pink Panther, and there are many, many clues. You can tell that she is in it, but you can't tell how it has been done. Not with that measly pictures here, and with the fabricated movie. Yeah, Jackie acts like a robot after bullet shot. Yeah, that's also my point. Yeah, and I haven't looked up to this script for years, so just could not recall that robot here. But of course, yeah, she's she instantly that's no normal reaction. Yeah, very fast. Yeah, it's programmed. It's just like a stage. It's just like acting. It's had nothing to do with the real thing. Yeah, I suppose that she is also under some drug or something, or maybe also what I had in mind is the umbrella man giving a sign that she's falling into some kind of program, or just she knows that she has now to obey orders, otherwise she would be next or so. Yeah? Because that is the situation. If you have such friends at the CIA, yeah, you see that you don't need any enemies. If you have such friends, Brett, you don't need any enemies. Yeah, you know that by the slightest downfall or the slightest thing that you would like to refuse the orders, you're next. If they get away with the killing of American president, they get away with the killing of the First Lady. So, and also Mr. Connelly is a drama queen, or the drama king, yeah, and his wife. Drama queen and his wife, yeah, because we know that you can't be hit by a pristine bullet and have some metal fragments in your wrist. And then to hold steady fast your head. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is all BS, absolutely BS. Yeah. And that is a hint which was clear to me from the beginning why Connelly had to step back or had to lean back to his wife. Because, of course, if you then kill the American president, yeah, you really think so that you really are satisfied with a grainy picture of a 8mm camera from far away distance from Mr. Abraham Zapruder, right? No, of course. If you would like to achieve to kill the American president, you would like to have it in the best quality ever possible from close range. Yeah. So therefore, Connolly leaned back to his wife to make the room free, to have a free, clean view on the killing of the American president. Yeah, and so that is the inside of the limousine here. There's in the middle of the limousine, there is that space, and you could have then covered a tool, a camera or so, which you then receive the best view on the assassination itself, which has much benefits. Yeah, the first benefit is you have a clear picture, so that you can give that movie, which nobody knows on the outside, from the exoteric people, so to everybody who's a threat to you. If you then can imagine where this movie is today, so supposing that it exists, and I heavily would think that it exists, then you drive to a place in Europe, in the capital city of a country named Italy. Yeah, and therefore I think there is at least one copy of that movie. And if you then have a leader or so-called leader of a certain state, yeah, you show him that picture and you say, yeah, see, that's what real power is, yeah, and even the American president is just a sitting duck. Yeah, that's quite impressive. That's quite impressive. You don't think that they really shoot or kill or order the killing of American president, and then they are being satisfied with an old with a decent camera from, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 yards away, huh? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Of course they want to have the best shot. Yeah, the whole circus is about shooting pictures. And I bet the drama queen has enough time to activate the camera before starting this theatrics. Yeah, maybe so. But at least it also has another benefit, because then they have the actions of Jackie Kennedy as proof. If you don't see Jackie Kennedy's actions from that Zapruder spot, you will see her from that camera angle. Yeah? So that means that she can be persecuted with murder at any given moment that the authorities or the order behind, or the church or parasitic ethnic groups or whomsoever would like to destroy her or to put her to court or so. If you say that there's a camera inside that car, yeah, then you have to take a stand, and then you have to really see that she is guilty. Yeah, that will declare, and that will also, get the facts straight that she has to obey, yeah, her entire life, because otherwise she would be persecuted with murder. My. Jackie on the trunk, that's pure distraction. It's the Pink Panther, yeah, that she looks very innocent, like a victim, helpless, and please help me, yeah, that's the one when the thief is running out of the shop and just proclaiming and shouting, oh, the robbery, help. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's in, and Clint Hill as well. Both of them were at Aristotle Onassis' military night of Malta. My. Sure. Clint Hill on the trunk, yeah. To distract the people on the left side. You see, all the actions are going on to the left side. There were very few people are standing. And of course, the limousine is in the middle of the road, which means there are certain distance between the people and the actions taking place in the limousine. Yeah. That's just a trick here. Clint Hill on the trunk. Clint Hill on the trunk. Yeah, it's just a movie. It's Hollywood. Yeah, it's that to keep the distraction for the people, and to keep the guilt away from Mrs. Kennedy, and says, oh, she's the terrified wife of the president, and she's in shock. Yeah, sorry. If you are in shock, you have to have some time to react, but she is reacting instantly. Yeah, so it's a planned operation. It's a planned killing. Yeah. So if there is one detail or another detail, you can look it up in that sheet here. Of course, you would use pink as a dissociation for Alice in Wonderland programming, as well as to hide any blood stains on the clothing. Yeah, because then imagine she would have worn a white costume, would be splattered all over again. But if you have a pink costume, yeah, then you have some dark spots there when the blood is spitting. Sorry, yeah. So that is very interesting, and many people, including me, think that her head was glued on as well. Usually, people think that it was just to have a clear view for all the snipers around it, that they won't shoot Jackie because of her head. But it's just part of her costume or the assassination uniform. Yeah, or just to distract the people by thinking, okay, that I'm clever, I'm going into some assassination or conspiracy. That's clearly a signal that there were outside snipers, and it's another distraction. It's another distraction. He said, oh, it was so hot, Brad, huh? It was so hot. It was 71 degrees Fahrenheit, and she's wearing a hat when it was so hot, and she was waiting for the triple underpass to have some cool and free and fresh air. That's why she's constantly wearing her hat. My. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Blocking the bystander's view, that we got with a window half raised to help Jackie on Elm Street. Yeah, of course. That's also been visible in that picture here from Croft. Yeah, that's the window. It's blocking the view. Yeah, you see clearly the sun is coming from that spot here, from behind, from the other side, from the Commerce Street, so to speak. And that window is half raised. If she tells you that, it was so terribly hot, why don't she lower the window? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that means that you got when you are standing here on the side here on the road on the other side of the Elm Street, maybe you got reflections by the sun. You don't see clearly what she's doing here. Okay. When Jean Hill was testifying, she said that I saw a dog between them. She was testifying, but she stand in a position behind the limousine here. So she was not being influenced by any possible reflection from the window. So she could look it from here and maybe from also a little bit more higher. So from that angle here. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, so Connolly and his wife screaming, making painful faces. Yeah, sure. Never ever in the history of assassination there was a magic bullet. So that's absolutely useless to go into that. That Connolly was also wounded. Maybe many people think that there were several other shooters. But once again, do you really think that government would risk the life of a United States governor? And United States First Lady of Texas, and United States First Lady, and Secret Service agents? You don't want to have an official run in such a trouble. Sorry. Yeah. Gunshot sound suppression, yeah, possible. Motorcycle cops, very interesting. Bobby Hargis, maybe also the friend of Jean Hill, but then is J.B. Marshall. So you see that even Jean Hill is not telling the truth when it comes down to the name of a motorbike friend, maybe. The film shows speeding him up around frame 300, so 1 second about the bullet shot, and that means the roar of the motorbikes also could cover a bit the sound of the shot to frame 313. Yeah, so Clint Hill says, and the motorcycle engines were loud in my ears when referring to the time between frames 300 and 313. So that's also very interesting. If you go down to the Altgen 6, you see clearly that these motorcycle cops, they look to each other. Yeah, look at that motorbike cop and look at these motorbike cops. They are clearly looking not to the president, which is officially wounded. Yeah, does he look to the president? Yeah, I think he looks to his either to the car, to these guys, or to the other motorbike cops. Yeah, so that's very strange that usually the eyes have to be focused on the president, and they are far away. They are further away from the presidential limousine, so he's without any protection at the moment. Let's get back to the script. Yeah. So they are signaling to each other that it's time to get close to the limo bumper and make some noise. Maybe. Yeah, of course, if they would have the keyboard and the drums at their disposal, Brett, that would be another thing. But yeah, so that's it. That's it. Limo driver Greer, of course, looking back at least twice. Yeah. He says, I didn't see the president, I didn't look, I wasn't far enough around to see the president. Sure, that's all lying. It's all lying. Distractors on a DD Plaza, sure. Yeah, these are distractors on a DD Plaza. Useful idiots also, that everybody is there to distract the people, unless they have or they serve another function or maybe multiple functions. And I got some other strange ideas about that. Camera operators at DD Plaza, yeah, also maybe there are certain other cameras. Sure. Yeah, if you do that century shot, yeah, you really don't think that Mr. Ike Aldkins did not shoot the exploding of the head of Kennedy, don't you? You really think that he missed that shot, Mr. Aldkins? I don't think so. And maybe that's also the cause of his strange death, I don't know. Yeah, I think they are all in it. Yeah, and everybody is threatened with death if they would tell anything. Yeah, so I'm not sure on Jean Hill and Mary Moorman, but you see that that's not the point. Of course, everything which could be seen as evidence had been getting rid of. So that was the dress of Mrs. Kennedy, it was the dress of Mr. Connolly. Yeah, sure. So it's a waste of time to go in the aftermath of that, because everything has gotten away with from the government. Yeah. So Zapruder is of course Freemason, and we have also gone into this. That is Major Chief. Yeah, you see that this article does not tell you anything about Freemason attack or Freemason temple. Yeah. Yeah. It's all distraction here. Yeah. Dallas police chief is Jesse Curry, also known as Chief Inspector Clouseau of Dallas. The famous chief makes himself immediately available to the media and the reporting unidentified flying bullets that have just landed on Dealey Plaza. Yeah. Yeah, and what they don't tell you is that he was a Freemason. Yeah. So we do not know what Kennedy family knew about that, but there is no curse. There is really no curse. Yeah, that's really no curse. And Warren Commission, you don't have to go into the Warren Commission. You have to go not to go into the central banking things and all the things that JFK would have had made. Yeah, and Jackie's grave is of course beside her husband, and the problem is that that we do not know if there are any corpses. Yeah, LBJ is clearly in it. That's quite another thing. Yeah, but so many distraction agents and so many things around that. It's just spectacular, yeah, how much industry this JFK assassination has then created. Yeah. In the meantime, most JFK assassination investigators will keep chasing JFK killers like Chief Inspector Clouseau keeps chasing the Pink Panther. They will keep chasing JFK killers around grassy knoll, behind open windows in nearby buildings, inside storm drains and sewers, or even behind umbrellas and UFOs hanging above Dealey Plaza. Yeah, corrupt college professors, corrupt PhDs, corrupt world-renowned experts, corrupt best-selling authors will be more happy than to assist them during their futile chases. Yeah, it's all a big money machine. It's a big money machine. I think that I have made, I could make a book out of that JFK assassination from my view, but I think it's just much more a kind of an outside position that I don't think that many people would buy that book. Yeah, but I'm doing that for free just for the truth. Central banking and all this stuff, it's all distraction here. It's all distraction here. Okay, very interesting that John Connally was also being promoted, so to speak. He became US Secretary of the Treasury when it was, I think it was about the time when that was on Nixon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's it for most of the part. Of course, this is not the parasitic ethnic group, but the problem is really that these people in power are also always serving Satan. Yeah, so if you create a lie which is so big and been promoted by the media, the people will fall for that because people are on the Broadway. That's so clear. Yeah, so that is just a Hollywood stunt here with the killing of Kennedy, with fabricated pictures and movies, of course. Yeah, and that's what we already have covered, so I will skip that. The famous quote "back and to the left" by the JFK movie by Oliver Stone is not meant to refer to the movements of JFK's head like everybody thinks. The author suggests the movie shows you. Watch JFK movie again, especially the courtroom performance by Kevin Costner, where he repeats the quote "back and to the left" many times. The last time he speaks this quote is the most important. When Kevin Costner speaks this quote for the last time, JFK's head is not shown. As soon as he stops speaking, the movie screen is filled with the figure of Leaping Jackie. That's correct. I have looked it up. That is absolutely correct. So back and to the left can also mean the murderer. The murderer, Jackie Kennedy, is sitting back and to the left in the car. Yeah. Very interesting when they came up with these Pink Panther movies. Yeah, it's really, they're making fun of all the people. They're making fun of all the people. It's just... For those who need more tips, watch the title sequence of The Return of the Pink Panther 1975 a little closer. The Pink Panther wears a pink hat like Jackie does. So here, I will enhance it a bit. I think it's... Oh, no, that's too much. I think that's fitting. The Pink Panther uses white magician's stick like Jackie uses white magician's gloves. The Panther points the white stick right in your face, like Jackie points her white gloves right in your face. After pointing right in your face, the Panther points the stick upwards to its right side with light flash, like Jackie points her gun upwards to the right side towards JFK's head with gunshot flash. The Panther sits in the rear of limo like Jackie does. The Panther smokes a cigarette like Jackie does in her real life. Need more tips? The first sequel, During A Shot in the Dark, was released on June 23rd of 1964 during the Treasurer's cover-up by Warren Commission. The famous single of Magic Bullet was introduced as evidence CE399 on March 16 of 1964. According to Wikipedia, the Magic Bullet traversed 15 layers of clothing, 7 layers of skin and approximately 15 inches of tissue, struck a necktie knot, removed 4 inches of ribs and shattered a radius bone. Its jacket was completely intact. Hollywood bosses immediately decided to exploit the Magic Bullet as animated Dum Dum Bullet in the movie A Shot in the Dark with a smiling face. Watch the movie sequence. The line "I'm a movie star" could refer to the fact that Magic Bullet was a star even then. However, a movie does not refer to this movie. It refers to a Zapruder movie where the bullet blows JFK's brains out like a star. The line "I play in this movie called Shot in the Dark" could refer to Zapruder films still kept in the dark out of public view back then. In other words, here the movie A Shot in the Dark means Zapruder movie or Zapruder film. The lines "I help the brilliant Inspector Clouseau to solve the murders, I look for the guilty bullet, he gets the bottom of things fast" could refer to the clowns like Arlen Specter who came up with the magic bullet or single bullet theory to cover up JFK murder. The line "if you want to know who the murderer is, you'll have to come and see the picture" could refer to advising people to see Zapruder film when the film becomes public later, or see the picture from Zapruder film showing Jackie killing JFK already published back then. Yeah, that's the movie A Shot in the Dark. Realize that the main plot of A Shot in the Dark is about the murder of a chauffeur having an affair with a maid. It could refer to JFK driving the symbolic car USA as the president and his wife. Although all the evidence points to the maid as the killer, Clouseau stubbornly refuses to admit that she is guilty. Yeah? So nobody tells you that Jackie is the murderer. Everybody wants to convince you then on a conspiracy level that the driver did it. Yeah, "I am a movie star," sets the bullet. 313. That's really interesting. It's really interesting sometimes. And of course there are also several remarks from David Bowie about that, which could also be in the Queen Bitch, maybe at the beginning of the 70s. But there are other clues as well, of course, from Killer Queen, which we soon will face. Yeah. Let's look it up. Killer Queen lyrics. Yes, we are going to this now. Yeah, that is Killer Queen. That's page 87. This heat, yeah. Okay, that's it. Come on. And there's a hint for the lyrics of a Queen song, which is called Killer Queen, and therefore we have to switch the script. Oh, let's look it up. Killer Queen has been released on the 11th of October 1974. Yeah. So that's the cover here, and you clearly see that it's a kind of initiation here. This is Killer Queen and Flick of the Wrist. number 1 in England. And this is also the Osiris pose. Yeah, Osiris is of course the obelisk standing at the Didi Plaza. Yeah, so that would also make sense. That's a reference to Osiris and a reference maybe to Luciferianism or a reference to Freemasonry. This is a sign of Osiris risen here, like Aleister Crowley. Yeah, from Freddie Mercury. Yeah, so maybe he's an insider. Hence the song "We Are the Champions, My Friend." Yeah, so maybe that is also "We Are the Insiders." And yeah, the B-side, the other side of the single, is called "Flick of the Wrist." And I said, oh, maybe that has some resemblance to the JFK killing. A dick in the ribs and then a kick in the head. But then intoxicate your brain with what I'm saying. Prostitute yourself, he says. But officially, it's about their manager. Yeah, big time money. It's about their manager, which they afterwards have been then getting rid of. Its manager is called Norman Sheffield. And this Flick of the Wrist is on Queen's third studio album, Sheer Heart Attack. And the song's lyrics are quite hilarious when you consider that they had entered a predatory contract with the then current manager Norman Sheffield, who was the receiver of the hate letter in Death on Two Legs. So that Death on Two Legs. So the B-side is Flick of the Wrist, and it could also have to have something in common with the A-side of Killer Queen. So Flick of the Wrist means dick in the ribs and then a kick in the head. Yeah, so but JFK received a kick in the head. Yeah, he's taken an arm and taken a leg, maybe also to the actions of Mrs. Kennedy. Intoxicate your brain with what I'm saying. And prostitute yourself, he says. But it's a he and not a she. So maybe that has also something to do with that. Flick of the wrist and you're dead, baby. But there's also something other about it. Flick of the wrist is a stab at a former manager or someone that Freddie feels he and the band have been wronged by. The song lyrics are hilarious when you consider that they had entered a predatory contract with the then current manager Norman Sheffield, who was the receiver of the hate letter in Death on Two Legs. Yeah, so therefore, Mr. Sheffield has released a book or biography of himself called "Life on Two Legs." Yeah, so let's look it up. It is months ago that I went into that part of the script. Death on Two Legs. Ah, that's another part. Death on Two Legs is a song considered his hate letter to his former manager Norman Sheffield. Okay. So this Norman Sheffield was former the manager of the rock group Queen and had the ownership of the former Trident Studios, being the original manager of the rock band Queen, and he was the drummer of Cliff Richard. I said, what? Trident Studios? Yeah, that's the picture that Brad meant in the beginning.
Ah, you know, that's interesting you bring that up. Trident is also the name of a recording console. Do you know that, Michael?
Mm-hmm. No, I did not know that.
Yeah, there's a Trident recording console as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you see that's Trident Studios. Yeah, you see that could have something to do with Freemason, huh? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot going on there, for sure.
Trident can refer to Plato's history of Atlantis. Yeah? So, because in that I have looked it up, it is Poseidon receiving for his lot the island of Atlantis. They make themselves temples and sacrifice, and Poseidon receiving for his lot the island of Atlantis. They beget children by immortal women and settle them, etc., etc. Yeah, yeah. This is Poseidon. Yeah, and Poseidon has, of course, a trident. Yeah, it's very interesting if you look it up. So Poseidon comes also in the form of Neptune. And the former Trident Studios building in Soho in London with the David Bowie Blue Plague in it. Yeah, so David Bowie also has recorded there. Huh? Very interesting, huh? David Bowie busy with the Kabbalah. Yeah. Yeah, and David Bowie and Queen also, they teamed up together with for the single Under Pressure. But David Bowie will always tell you that his alias Bowie refers to the Bowie war hero in the United States, but could also refer to David Bowman, the mission commander of Discovery 1 in the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. Because remember that his ground control to Major Tom, yeah, his Space Oddity, yeah, not Space Odyssey, yeah, but at David Bowie, yeah, it's called Space Oddity. Remember, 1969 or so, I think it was. Yeah, that would fit, I think, spot on. Space Oddity. just got into my mind. Space Oddity. Come on. Yeah, 1969, just a few weeks after the alleged moon landing. So
check
Sheffield,
this out. Just listen to this quickly. I just found this on the internet. The Trident A-range page on Wikipedia. It says Trident A-range consoles were originally built by and for Trident Studios. When the word spread about this revolutionary new multi-track recording console design, other studios placed their orders and Trident audio developments were formed. Cherokee Studios in LA was part of the early recipients. Okay, and it goes on to speak that David Bowie, Rod Stewart, and Frank Sinatra are among the early artists who first recorded hits on the Cherokee's first A-range console. So I think that's Cherokee Studios they're talking about. So with only 13 consoles ever built, this model...
13, okay.
13, that's right. The Trident A-range has attained a near mythical status in professional recording industry, okay? That gives you an idea of...
how exclusive it is. Trident A series?
Yes, on Wikipedia.
Oh my.
Keep scrolling down. Keep going. It's probably really low on the list.
Okay.
There. No, that's not it. That's finished. Keep going. It's Wikipedia. I'm surprised you've never heard of Trident Audio before, Mike.
Yeah, I heard, but I have not got it now in context, you see.
Yeah, right.
Ah, okay, there
There you go. That's it.
Ta-da-da. Yeah,
13 consoles.
Okay. So Mr. Sheffield went on to launch Trident Studios in 1968, and later that year, the Beatles recorded their song Hey Jude there, and part of their self-titled double album, also known as the White Album. White is the color of spirit, huh? When? Well, on the 22nd of November 1968, so exactly 5 years after the assassination. What a coincidence. Huh? The Beatles. The Beatles. Yeah? Freemason pose, Freemason pose, Freemason pose, Freemason pose, the hidden hand. Yeah? So, a Freemason organization called the Beatles. Of course. Why not? Because the trident is a symbol of... and the manager of the Beatles was the Jesuit George Martin, the fifth Beatle. This website, All Religions Are One, claims John Lennon was an Antichrist figure like John the Baptist, John Lennon, John, and Paul. Yeah, so the two biblical names, John and Paul, or Paul and John. Yeah, he claimed 1966 he is bigger than Jesus, or the Beatles are bigger than Jesus. Yeah, and he died at the Dakota Hotel of Rosemary's Baby about the birth of the Antichrist, killed by allegedly Mark David Chapman, mind-controlled with J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye with the word phony, saw John Lennon as false Christ. Of course he's the false Christ, John Lennon, because he wrote that song, Imagine There's No Heaven. Yeah, so it's Satan, huh? Everybody thinks that, oh, Imagine it's so nice, it's such a peace song. Imagine there's no heaven, no hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living life in peace. That's a piece of the Antichrist. Yeah, no heaven, no salvation. Yeah, Paul McCartney, biblical names John and Paul used by popes. Rumors about his death, Paul's death, it's just, of course, it's BS, according to my humble opinion. Yeah, and that's it. You see that nothing happens by chance. Nothing happens by chance. It's all rituals. They do what they're told. Meditation trance. Ringo Starr, like the star. In Help, he's stuck in a pit. Used the Ninth Symphony of Beethoven to get him out. Revelation means Revelation 9/11. Apollyon from the bottomless pit, so Satan. After the death of JFK, the website claims the Beatles invaded the US as the Army of the East from Revelation 9 at the JFK airport. Ringo Starr played in the Magic Christian. Yeah, that is correct. And the name beetle does not come from their hair, but from Egyptian mythology. The dung beetle, Khepri, pushes the sun in the sky, is associated with revolution. Crowley, the winged beetle, stands for the thalamus in the brain, and constellation Cancer, the chariot. And this is kind of rebirth. Yeah, so that is the origin of the Beatles. Is most likely also Satanism, called the winged beetle. That's a poem by Aleister Crowley. And Aleister Crowley has been famously covered on the front picture of the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club's band. What a coincidence. Yeah? It's also that Antichrist Adolf Hitler, or in the Antichrist spirit, Adolf Hitler promoted the Volkswagen Beetle. Ah, the Volkswagen Beetle. Uh-huh. In Rosemary's Baby, Victoria dies at a Volkswagen Beetle as a symbol of death, regeneration of the new. And do you think that is an accident here, that they were using a Volkswagen Beetle in the background of the famous Abbey Road cover? And there's an advert here. If Ted Kennedy drove a Volkswagen, he'd be president today. Yeah? So you always have a resemblance from Kennedy also and Beatles, Freemason to a Beetle. The Volkswagen Beetle, officially the Volkswagen Type 1, informally in German the Käfer, meaning the beetle, or in English-speaking word the bug, and many other nicknames, is an economy car from Volkswagen created in 1938. But that's also wrong, because it was officially created by Professor Porsche from that famous car company, but that was plagiarism, because it actually has been created by Béla Barrényi. Yeah? That's an East Europe engineer. I think he was then losing his job and everything else, and you find that on an order page of Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, you find not that information on the Porsche page. I suggest. Yeah, so this is just also Porsche is also just pure serving Hitler. Yeah, Professor Porsche. Mm-hmm. So when Jeremy Clarkson said once again for the to the 9/11, yeah, why do you think really it's so simple, yeah? Why do you think is that car that successful, the 911 of Porsche? Huh? Why is it so successful? It's Revelation 911. 9/11. Yeah, it's like 9/11 in America. Yeah. And the bug was not created by Mr. Porsche, allegedly, but by Mr. Béla Barrényi, Hungarian engineer from Austria-Hungary. Yeah. From 1925, 5 years before Ferdinand Porsche claimed to have made his initial version. And I don't know, was he arrested or what? There was many things going on. They got rid of him in some kind of way or another. I don't know. Yeah, but he had never seen the big money. The big money was going to Porsche and Volkswagen and all the things. Yeah, he also developed the concept of a crumble zone when he came up in 1937. Yeah, so that these are the people who are not known when it comes down to truth. It's just it's lies everywhere, Brett. You see, you can't do 20,000, 100,000 pages on that. You will never stop. Mm-hmm. Yeah, ISIS ritual, Jihadi John. At the end of the ritual, Man in Black played Imagine at the Bataclan Club in Paris. I have not looked it up. Yeah, one eye symbolism with the Beatles. Yeah, so Beatles is clearly a Freemason organization from the United Kingdom. Yeah.
Black and white, of course.
Black and white and one eye symbolism, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It goes on and on and on and on. You see the death of JFK occurred 22/11/33, and the White Album was being released on 22/11. Yeah, that's 33 being the high number in Freemasonry. Yeah, so Beatles are most likely Freemason, but it's not only Beatles. Yeah. Yellow Submarine with blue meanies, meaning bluebirds of dissociation, like the Bluebird program. Yeah, Abbey Road. Their legs are forming Master Mason. Billions of people, I think, know that cover, but do not know the real meaning behind it. That's Master Mason. Everybody says, oh yeah, that's a dead Paul. He's walking barefoot, and that's a sign for being dead in a coffin or so. That's just, they are laughing. They are laughing at us. Yeah, this is This is Master Mason. Master Mason is the third, Hiram Abiff, Brett? The ritual, JFK killing. Yeah, this is also reference to this Master Mason 30 Green Freemason here from Hiram Abiff. Abbey Road, 1968. My, you see that, don't tell me, is it 1968 Abbey Road or is it 1969? It is 1969, sorry. Yeah, but nevertheless, you see that's also remembrance to Freemasons. Also, you see a Beatle here in the background. And that's not all, of course. That's not all. Yeah, the Beatles Yesterday and Again, and you thought that was a nice boy band, huh? That's a cover which did not make it for several reasons, I think. Yeah. And these are
something else about Abbey Road. Wasn't that, Michael, you pointing that out earlier, that Abbey Road was also...
It will come. It's Abbey Road, sure. It's an abbey, yeah. It has something to do with the church, Brad.
Yes, that's right. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, but that is also a frame, like in the Zapruder movie. So that is what you are supposed to see. As an exoteric. You don't know that it's Master Mason.
No, and you also don't know it's located right next to an obelisk, right? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That is framing here. It's like the Zapruder film. That is what you are supposed to see. And that is what you actually should see. Yeah, that is the crossing here. You can't see that very clearly here, but the crossing is here. And that is the road of the abbey.
Visit the obelisk there with Paul leading the, or not Paul, John leading the charge there in white.
Yeah, in white, huh? Sure. Yeah, the spirit is the spiritual one of the Beatles.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Abbey Road. Yeah.
Yeah, John, Paul, George, and Ringo makes you think of the popes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
John, Paul too,
Yeah. Yeah, and also of the four evangelists, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's also for people, huh? Maybe. Yeah. So they also have released a song called Happiness is a Warm Gun. Huh? That means it's a double entree for Guns and his sexual desire for Yoko Ono. Yeah, but look at the song text. She's not a girl who misses much. Yeah, she's well acquainted with the touch of the velvet hand, like a lizard on a window pane. And maybe that has more to do like Yoko Ono. I don't know. Happiness is a Warm Gun could also suit to Jackie Kennedy, but I think that's a stretch. But other well-known albums and songs recorded at the Trident Studios include Elton John's Candle in the Wind, David Bowie's Life on Mars, Changes and the Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, and Queen's album Queen, Queen 2, and Sheer Heart Attack. And of course, Queen and David Bowie collaborated and Under Pressure, #1. From 72 to 75, under one of his companies within the Trident Group, was also the original manager of the British rock band Queen. Sure. Yeah. You can imagine that Trident, that he has ties to Freemasonry. Yeah, Death on Two Legs. Tearing Me Apart. That's the song about the manager here. Death on Two Legs. In 1975, the Jesuitically trained androgynous Freddie Mercury, Bohemian Rhapsody, Making Signs of Skull and Bones, and also about the wedding, the alchemical wedding in Bohemia from King Frederick. Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody scene. Bohemian King Frederick V and Elizabeth Stewart with Rosicrucian Michael Mayer a few months after the death of Freddie Mercury in 1992. According to that website, of course. And that is the logo of Queen. with the phoenix. And of course with the king or the crown of the king or the queen. What does William Cooper tells us about the Freemasonry? He says in Babylon Mystery 27, today the phoenix nested in flames and symbolize initiation and adept. And look at the symbol of queen with the phoenix on top. So you got already one hint, Trident Studios, Freemason or Kabbalah. And the second hint is the logo of queen, meaning the phoenix, the symbol of rebirth in the Egyptian mysteries. And of course, that is of course one part of the religionist belief in the Freemasons. Yeah. Further, he says that they would not surely die and that they would be as gods. Of course, that's a biblical reference to Genesis 3. Yeah, that's rebirth. Yeah, but the pagan way, so without Jesus Christ, of course. Yeah. So, can it be that Queen also is Freemasonry? Because the phoenix is the same as the Ford Thunderbird, identical meaning as the phoenix. Yeah, so they're worshipping the phoenix on a Ford automobile. And you know that Ford was a 33-degree Freemason, right? But that's just the start, or not 30-degree, 33-degree Freemason. So, yeah, you also have it on a Pontiac, named after an Indian chief. Yeah, the phoenix, a firebird. Yeah, that's a firebird here. Yeah, that's very famous for, well known for Mr. Burt Reynolds. What's that here? Oh, that's just, no, I don't know what that means. Yeah, but they tell you in Freemasonry that there are no higher steps than the 33-degree. Yeah. Yeah. And I have another opinion about that. Maybe Mr. Alfred Hitchcock has another idea, because he has released a movie called The 39 Steps, and he was Jesuitically trained. And also, every time you see a lodge, that could also mean that they are being controlled by Freemasons. This is the world-famous Muppet Show. And in the movie of 1935, I think it was, The 39 Steps, 1935, that's very strange because two suspects are fleeing. Where to? Yeah, because of the mysterious 39 steps, which have stolen secret documents. They have to flee to a certain location in Scotland for the leader of the spies. Yeah, Scotland, huh? Scottish Rite. Yeah, but it's just my suggestion. Yeah, there's Freemason everywhere in North by Northwest of Alfred Hitchcock, for example. You see it on the tie here. You see a Freemason symbolism. Yeah, in the 39 Steps, the murder occurred right from the lodge. Yeah, there's someone hiding in the lodge in the shadow. Yeah, and you see that one here at the end of the movie. You see him trying to escape from that lodge. Yeah, but he murdered clearly Mr. Memory, who was standing here and wanted to tell the audience what the 39 Steps is. It's a collaboration of spies. And what is Freemasonry other than a collaboration of spies? That novel came from John Buchanan, CGMG, CGFO, Royal Victorian Order, Order of St. Michael and St. George, and even Privy Council of the Queen. So somebody who was very deep into the religious ties of the English nobility. Yeah, it's always the same. 39 steps. So that was my idea from Mr. Hitchcock, who maybe that has a reference to Freemason also. Yeah, I think that Mr. Buchanan is very well educated enough that he knows about all the Catholic orders here, huh? Order of St. Michael and St. John, and also Freemasonry. Yeah, well, that's just my clues. Yeah, that's my clues. Yeah, Buchanan was Secret Service, military Secret Service, chief of the British intelligence. Yeah. Later on, he was working for Reuters. Yeah, these are no ordinary writers. Yeah, these are people coming from secret services. Yeah, and that's what I suppose that also Muppet Show is just a Freemason programming. So Queen has that phoenix logo of initiation also in their logo. Could it be that Queen is also Freemason because they were busy with the Trident Studios? Every time you see a trident or a lodge, it could be a hint to Freemason. That's the Black Lodge of Twin Peaks, by the way, with the red room, the room of sin, actually the room of blood, the room of death. but don't want to go into this at the moment. Yeah, Queen, Killer Queen. Freddie Mercury says, it's about a first-class call girl. I want to express that also elegant men could be prostitutes. And I said, oh, that would be very fitting for Jackie Kennedy, wouldn't it, Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see only the finest. Rolls-Royce, Onassis, Kennedy, plate, yeah. Built to the order of Greek shipping magnate Aristotle Onassis. Brian May from Queen later says that Killer Queen was the breaking point on the career of Queen. Yeah, great. Killer Queen. Yeah. So that's the lyrics. Killer Queen, 1974. She keeps a Moet and Chardon, that's a high level, high society champagne, in a pretty cabinet. Let them eat cake, she says, just like Marie Antoinette. That's French Revolution. Yeah, that's guillotine, that's murder, huh? A built-in remedy for Khrushchev and Kennedy. Yeah, and both of them actually met, and you see the first hint to Kennedy here in that lyrics of Killer Queen. At any time an invitation you can't decline, caviar and cigarettes. Well versed in etiquette, extraordinary nice. She's a killer queen, gunpowder, gelatine. Most people say that, okay, that's the white powder or the white smoke above Kennedy's head, and gelatine is then the brain tissue. Dynamite with a laser beam can mean that it's an explosion with precision. Guaranteed to blow your mind. Yeah, and that's what happened to JFK. They blew his mind. Anytime. Yeah, and that's very interesting reference. And where do they have this inside information, Queen? Well, if they are Freemasons, if they are recording in the Trident Studios, if they have a Phoenix logo, and there's more to it. Recommended at the price, insatiable and appetite wanna try. To avoid complications, she never kept the same address. In conversations, she spoke like the Baroness, so nobility. Remember that her sister is nobility, princess? Met a man from China could hint to the height of Aristotle Onassis, who was only 5'5". Met a man from China, so from far away. So from the position of the United States, Greece is very far away. Okay? He cannot tell from China, and see that would be too obvious, I think. So that's Aristotle Onassis. Went down to Geisha Minor. And Turkey, for example, is being known here as Asia Minor. That's sounds almost the same, but it's Asia Minor. Yeah, so Geisha Minor or Asia Minor is phonetically almost the same, I think. Yeah, Asia Minor. Yeah, Kleinasien. Little Asia. Yeah, usually it's meant Turkey, but you see that Greece is very close to that. Okay, let's move on. That's the island Scorpius, private island. Yeah, and that is here Turkey. That would be Asia Minor. Yeah. Not Geisha Minor, but Asia Minor. Killer Queen, she's a killer queen. Then again, incidentally, if you're that way inclined, perfume came naturally from Paris. Yeah, you remember that she was in Paris 1950-51 and the allegedly 3 months CIA training in Paris. What a coincidence. Of course, much perfume comes from Paris. For cars, she couldn't care less, sure, yeah. But actually, it's very interesting that about the killing of the queen or the queen killing is related to Paris and to cars. Yeah, it has something to do with cars. Yeah, they would not have expressed cars if it would not be of importance. Yeah, she couldn't care less, but you see, cars have been mentioned there. Yeah, so that is a hint. Next coming up, job of a head. She's as willing as. Playful as a pussycat, then momentarily out of action, temporarily out of gas, could also mean to the brake lights of the presidential limousine. Oh, a rhyme. Huh? Yeah, she drives you wild, blah, 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 and the same, wanna try. That's Freddie Mercury in 1974. the big hit for Queen. And 1 year later, in a concert, I will present an insert here, which we already have done on our satanic music agenda exposed. He said that he's got a present from the devil himself. Yeah? So he's a Satanist, sorry. He's not a Zoroastrian. Yeah? He's a Satanist.
Like my claws, they're real diamonds. It's a present from the devil himself. You don't believe me? They don't believe me.
Yeah, so that was the Live at Rainbow Deluxe Queen edition. Yeah, look at my claws. They are real diamonds. It's a present from the devil himself. You don't believe me? They don't believe me. Yeah. Yeah. They think that it's just an artist and it's just a joke. And of course, he had most probably had not met the devil himself, but he has been handed over by somebody who's also serving the devil. So Freddie Mercury was also being educated in, what was it now? Or in India somewhere, I think. Oh my. And his parents, they had something to do with the service of the British ambassador. Yeah, so he has a little bit more insight than usual people. And he went to St. Peter's School, the Phoenix logo, like logo of Queen also, and St. Mary of the Jesuits in India. yeah, India. Yeah, you see? What a coincidence, huh? After the Zanzibar Revolution, he moved to UK. His name refers to Bohemian King Frederick V. John Dee's alchemical wedding with Elizabeth Stuart, Count of Mercury. And John Dee being the role model of James Bond.
Wait a second. I thought the name was Queen, not King.
Yeah, but Freddie, huh? Freddie. Freddie. Crazy little thing called love. Yeah. And so it's always the same. You see that it's also Skull and Bones, but actually it is Osiris Risen. We are the champions could mean we are the initiates. Yeah, David Bowie is the same, one eye, and it's all the same. Yeah, David Bowie. It's always the same. You see that all the symbolism here with Freddie Mercury. Yeah, as above, so below. What do you expect? These are just the role models. These are just role models for to distract the people. Once again, you can't prove it, but I found an interesting video which goes, why did Freddie Mercury hide secret messages in his lyrics? Because there are Freemasons accusations, of course. What do you expect? Trident Studios and Phoenix and all the thing. Yeah, he was signing himself under an alias into hotels under the name of F. Mason, Brett. What a coincidence. Yeah. It's just a coincidence. Yeah. Some people think that there are misquotes. Yeah, history had been deliberately altered and to true reality and blah blah blah. But I'm just interested in the truth. So, what makes the song Bohemian Rhapsody so incredibly interesting is not only that it mixed with opera and rock and roll, but no one really knows what it's about, and none of these theories have been confirmed. Yeah, we made a video out of it, huh? Satanic Media Agenda 59, Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, Just Killed a Man, Beelzebub, and so it's just about initiation, is it here? It could also be about the alchemical wedding of Frederick and all the things, but on the other hand, he's just claiming Bismillah and Beelzebub and all the stuff. So it's clearly also a biblical reference, and of course he's a Satanist. He has got a present by the devil himself. Yeah, what do you think that his belief system is? Of course, he's a star in this world, so it's, of course, look at the guy, yeah, he's bisexual and everything. Yeah. Going clubbing. What you mean, what you know what going clubbing means is it's drug and fornication. Identity crisis. Yeah, he's not an identity crisis. He knows exactly what he wants. Yeah, he does not want to become a star. He said he just wanted to become a legend. Yeah? Me. Beelzebub is identified in the New Testament as the devil prince of demons. Yeah, it's the same name for... Yeah, of course. In the beginning of the songs, it says, is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Yeah, of course, that is just another word. It's a spiritual world. Yeah, but we have talked about that before. It's just, for me, the point about F. Mason, for example. Yeah. Yeah, so don't... You know what he's about. You see, you look at the pictures and you know. Yeah. What's so difficult? What's so difficult? Yeah. So to sum it up, the driver is the conspiracy theory of the CIA. Hence the book "Behold a Pale Horse" from William Cooper. Yeah. William Cooper has been told by the intelligence when he was in the military, so that the driver shot JFK. But the Freemason conspiracy, hence Queen, for example, hence David Bowie, and many things around that, they claim that Jackie did it. So that is just a distraction on high level. Yeah, this is inside distraction. That the driver did it, the CIA version, and that Jackie did it is the Freemason version. That's so far my conclusion of it. Yeah, 90% of all killings are related to any relation. So vanity and revenge, and these are the motives. So that could also be a private motive of Jackie Kennedy, that she wanted to, I don't know. Yeah? It's time to think the unthinkable. Did Jackie pull the trigger on her husband? Yeah, so that she has, of course, participated in it. She must know where the shot came and who has triggered the thing. Yeah, so when it was down to Lincoln, it was just a one-shot revolver from close distance, or just one-shot Derringer from close distance. And that would suit also the version of Jackie Kennedy, that she did it also from close distance, because that could maybe be the bullet trajectory. But in the end, they have left in that frame 313 here, with that trajectory of what it is. Maybe also to blame it on Jackie. Yeah, so you never know. I got another train of thoughts also. Yeah, she has no natural response. That's the main clue. Yeah? You can't fake emotions when you don't have any. Yeah? Of course, there are several frames missing. Yeah, there are even assassination theories who say there was a shooter in the trunk. Yeah, everything is possible there. Yeah, of course the movie has been altered. And of course she is only in for the money. And maybe there are other hints too, because in 1975, remember that Killer Queen was 1974. In 1975 there was a single by the Electric Light Orchestra, coming also from United Kingdom as well. And they had an album called Face the Music, and they had a single called Evil Woman. And in Evil Woman, that's coming from that very special album, ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, one of my favorites back then, with an electric chair. Electric light, yeah. Face the music, so face the consequences, it means, Brett, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a positive album cover, I'd say. Yeah, so this is the front cover and this is the back cover. Yeah, they are prisoners. Maybe prisoners of their mind. They are just maybe on the other side of a mirror or so. Yeah, but that very strangely looks to some kind of magic, especially when you consider the second song on the second on the B side is called Strange Magic, and the third song on the first side is called Evil Woman. Yeah, Evil Woman has a very interesting text. You made a fool of me, but then broken dreams have got to end. There's a hole in my head where the rain comes in. And that's a hole in the head that Kennedy also had, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it did not rain in Dallas, but you took my body and pled to win. But it's so interesting that Jeff Lynne, when asked, he said that I don't know any evil woman. I have read it at least somewhere. Yeah, and in Switzerland they claim, there's a passage of "The Hole in My Head Where the Rain Comes In" is a tribute of the Beatles song, Freemason, fixing a hole. But in fixing a hole, it is about school, and so it's just no thing about having a hole in the head. There is nothing. So we know that ELO is heavily related to Beatles, but there's a hole in my head where the rain comes in, and then Evil Woman, I say, that would be spot on to Jacqueline Kennedy. And Hole in the Head is especially the movie here with Frank Sinatra, A Hole in the Head, 1959, the same year when he was singing High Hopes for the JFK campaign, or 1 year later, JFK campaign, A Hole in the Head. Frank Sinatra. You see, this is Sinatra and this is JFK. A hole in the head. And Kennedy had a hole in the head. And Frank Sinatra, being, of course, participating in the mobster, mafia, he also played the leading role in The Manchurian Candidate in 1962 about the mind-controlled killing of someone which announces the JFK ritual. Yeah, what do you think? A hole in the head. There's a hole in the head where the rain comes in, and evil woman. Yeah, so that could be another hint. Ha ha, woman, what you gonna do? You destroyed all the virtues that the Lord gave you. Rode in from another town. Hit some gold, too hard to settle down. Evil woman. So I thought in an instant, I thought about Jackie Kennedy with the evil woman. Yeah, so that was my train of thoughts there, evil woman. Yeah, because she must know how it happened. She was there. And she was in for the money. Yeah, 23 years younger than Aristotle Onassis. And she was depicted in a newspaper as Nemesis, the true story of Aristotle Onassis, Jackie O, and the love triangle that brought down the Kennedys. Extraordinary story, blah blah blah, Peter Evans. Nemesis. Nemesis means the Greek goddess of vengeance. Personification of divine wrath from Greek nemesis, righteous anger. That's not a positive connotation. Greek goddess of anger, die hard with a vengeance. Yeah. A romantic triangle with Jackie and Bobby. Yeah, Onassis had become part of a romantic. I hope that it is that you can see it clearly here. In that article, it says it's unlikely that Maria Callas knew to what extent Onassis had become part of a romantic triangle with Jackie and Bobby. But she was aware by the early spring of 1965 that it was not well with their own relationship. Onassis accompanied her to New York for her two performances at Tosca at the Met. In truth, it was simply an opportunity for Onassis to spend some time with Jackie. Her presence at Callas' first night, where accompanied by one of her several homosexual walkers, she appeared magnificently dressed in white mink and diamonds, bestowed an air of royal command upon the evening, etc. Yeah. So many people had to suffer. He could have gotten real love with Maria Callas, most likely, but he wanted to have his trophy wife for what reason soever. Yeah. It's not a happy ending. Nowhere. Nowhere happy endings, sorry. Yeah. Just in for fame, fortune, and won't help you in the end. Too heavy a price may be paid for wealth. That's so interesting to go within, but I'm really fed up with all the things around Jackie Kennedy, because I don't have nothing against her personally, but on an investigation level, you see that she's hiding so much, and it is just that you have to bear in fact that she betrayed most likely also her children. Yeah, that's... You see that it's a mess everywhere. It's a mess everywhere. Yeah, Die Mohrenschuld, Dallas, C. Harvey Oswald, everything is connected. Yeah, so that many people know exactly the truth, but you won't find the truth on the internet. At least if you're not initiated. And I'm glad that I'm not part of any order or any society. Yeah, but it's just a bunch of mess. It's just a bunch of mess.
Michael, what I take out of this is that. It's obvious that after all these years and all this time since this act was, taken part on the president, that people really aren't interested in the truth. They'd rather have the money, along with Jackie. They're definitely, they go along with all the bread and circus, Michael. No different than Roman times. I mean, we're still in Roman times. That's the point. And things have not changed. They're not going to change. It's just going to be this way until Christ returns. So, yeah, it's a mess. You couldn't have put it better than that. It's truly a mess.
The entire world is a mess. You see that if you go into science, if you go into music, if you go into media, if you go into politics, it's always a mess. All the people are lying to you. I would like to read more and talk more about the truth, which is Jesus Christ. And it's just about Psalms 2, that the kings of the earth have gathered a council together against the Lord and his anointed. That it's always the same. You see that there are no real Christians there, because these are all supreme beings here. They all serve a position high above any civilian. Yeah, they want to be supreme. Be it a governor, be it a secret.
Want the hierarchy.
They want the hierarchy.
Want the hierarchy. That's the point. I think that's really where we're at. It's like people talking about the world order. You know, they want world order. So therefore, you get the United Nations. Well, we could talk about a whole slew of items that have already been gone over in great detail by Tom Fress of Inquisition Update. And look him up and look up the Global Vatican, and just take a listen to all of those series he did on the Global Vatican. You'll see exactly what we're talking about here, is that this, you know, they have to keep the cap on thing, and the only way they can keep the cap on this whole plot is to just completely attack anyone that would go against the official narrative. It's the same thing with anything we see today. You know, like what's going on right now in our current crisis, so-called health crisis. Give me a break. I think Michael and I and all our listeners, we're all sick of it. We're sick of it. But guess what? We have to endure. We have to endure. We have to get through this. So thank you, Michael, for bringing us this information and bringing us the real hard truth of it all. We got to endure through all this. We not only need to know our enemy, but we also need to know that we need to endure through the hard times, along with all of our unfortunate family and friends that have not the energy nor the patience to deal with this. We have to help them too. We can't just spit in the face of our enemy either. You know, the Bible's clearly telling us, love your enemy. Well, what does that mean? Rebuke him. That's what it means. Don't be afraid. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? We're supposed to set them straight, whether they like it or not, no matter how angry they get with us. Because there's always tomorrow. They might wake up and start to really smell the coffee, the Roman coffee, as Tom always says. You know, that Roman coffee's been brewing for over 2,000 years. I think it's pretty well set by now. I think we should all be a little more humble about it. But that's just my opinion, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be patient with one another. No, that's not easy sometimes. I have trouble with it too. But yeah, an amazing situation nonetheless, that we can take a look at this and analyze this in the current day and age. And I don't know, Michael, how far we're going to be able to go in the series on YouTube or not. If we're going to have to switch over to BitChute entirely, it might be the case, because it looks like, you know, things are getting very difficult on YouTube. They're just getting harder every year. So I think, you know, the next coming months will be the real test, Michael. Not only on YouTube, but also the internet and for society at large. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think that the majority of us researchers have seen enough, and we know hard times will come. And I don't think they've come yet, Michael. Not yet. But certainly we have had a test over the past couple of years, haven't we? We sure have. So who knows how much of the real freedoms are going to be sticking around for the long haul here in the next coming years. Because it looks like big trouble, like up in Canada, if you know what I'm talking about. It's coming down here too. It's going to come everywhere. We're all going to be tried. So that's the concern I have, Michael, is that we can endure the trial.
Yeah, thank you for bearing with me, and I hope that we don't need that much sessions from here on, because you see that everywhere you look, it's total mess. It's an antichrist word, it's a satanic word. There is so much everywhere, and if you don't see it, you're just been blinded by the mass media, or you are just too afraid to see the truth. But we have shown you so much hints to the things that it's really unbelievable how manipulated people are. And so thank you very much, and we will we're making progress here in the series, and in a few weeks we will then have the end of the conspiracy series, and then I'm really gladful when this series comes to an end, because it's really hard stuff to. It's about the killing of a man. It's about the killing of a father. Yeah, of two children.
Yeah, it's about the betrayal of an entire nation.
Yeah,
also,
that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's really where it's at. We've been betrayed. We've been scarred. We've been hurt, and we don't acknowledge it as a society as a whole because we're not allowed to. And they just keep bombarding our minds with this garbage. I just read an article today on the internet about that, they just want you to be a happy robot and keep your mouth shut. Mm-hmm. Well, we're not doing that on this channel, are we, Michael?
No, we try to put the finger to the things that we see, and we try that you really see that the difference is that we are really interested in the truth. We are not making money with that. We are just interested in the truth. We are spending our spare time. We are spending our spare time to look for the truth in it, and we don't find any truth in any politician. So they are just leading us astray. You see, this is a fake photo. Yeah, He's not flying on the grass. Yeah, this is a fake photo.
That's right.
How can you research anything for certain if you just rely on this Laterna Magica from the Jesuits? Okay, but I'm signing off for today. I'm really finished with JFK. We did 2 sessions this weekend, and you see that now we have to have a counterbalance, and the counterbalance, the counterweight is, of course, the Bible, the real truth. Then it's so relaxing to look to the Bible and to see that God is always in control, and God let also the assassination of Kennedy happen. Maybe also for us to really see how the conditions in the world are, and so that could also be then a way to see the things a little bit more in a positive way.
Yeah, it's a warning sign. That's right.
Yeah.
It's definitely a warning sign, and those of us that are going to be watchers on the wall here are, and Michael, thank you for bringing us all of this information. I know you've been working on the series with Jörg Glismann in Belgium in German for a long time, and you offered to bring it here to my channel and do it in English, and it's a pleasure to have you. And I'm really looking forward to the conclusion and the coming ending of the series, and I think we're right about at that point, aren't we?
Yeah, the question is on my side. If I would like to hand over an estimation of how much sessions we need from that on, I think maybe 4. Because there's not much left, but this will be very interesting ones, because I think there will be some conclusions that we won't find almost nowhere. It's not for my personal. You see that it just that it does not make sense to tell the same thing all over again. I just want to have points also pointing to the real background of all the mess in the politics, and so that I think that will be very interesting to look upon that from a biblical standpoint, because that was missing for several sessions. We were just looking from a secular standpoint, but we will soon look at from a biblical standpoint also, or from a clerical standpoint. So, okay, so I'm signing off. Thank you very much for having me, and God bless until the next time, Brad. Maranatha.
Maranatha.